everything well? You're looking great. Very slim.
Yeah, I lost about 16 pounds
Wow.
since when was it? November. So since when I started all this, the veganism, I
Right. I
lost
saw
16.
that.
Yeah.
I was
It's
very curious because, honestly, because you're a man. Not to be sexist,
oh, there we go. I am a man. You're right.
but you are a man, and so few men in my life are vegans. Like, I don't even know if I know a single male vegan outside of Instagram.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So I was curious.
Or celebrities or anything?
Yeah, just that kind of stuff. But in my personal bubble, not so much.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Because I've noticed that a lot of women are mostly vegan. Women are traditionally more health conscious than men. Tradition.
Yeah.
Like for the
Traditionally.
most part. I mean, there's a lot of men out there who really take care of themselves.
Oh, yeah.
But
Holy.
but for the most part, the guys I'm thinking I live around here, like in Lindsay type of thing, is they're don't take care of themselves at all.
Is that
You
where
know,
you're
the big
living now, Lindsay?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So live up in the Kawarthas.
that's where we want to move, actually.
Oh yeah, in
Yeah.
Lindsay particularly, or just
Not
Kawartha?
Lindsay, but in the Kawarthas. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area.
Don't you think? All those lakes and so much to
Oh
do.
yeah, yeah.
I
I
know.
live right on the Trent Canal.
Oh, nice.
So I have a little bit of healing water that flows right behind, right there. It's like 50 feet from me.
That sounds great.
Oh yeah,
How
so
long have you
good.
been there, Neil?
Just a couple of years.
Right. Are you retired or you work from home?
Not quite, no. I'm getting ready to go up north actually. Uh because I had my heart attack in October and ever since then I've been off work. Actually, I've been off work since July.
Right.
So and then October hit and then that kiboshed every other plan. And
Right.
then I've been trying to get work since January, trying to get the coordination between my the agency and myself to coordinate a time and place where I can go. So I was
Right.
usually going to Alberta.
Right.
Then there was opportunities for me to go to Newfoundland, which fell through, and New Brunswick, which fell through. So now I'm going up to Hudson Bay area.
Ooh.
You want to look it up? It's called Fort Albany.
Oh, actually, the name's familiar.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know why.
oh, that's
I don't know
funny.
why. We traveled a lot when we were kids in Northern Ontario.
That far north though,
I don't know. It just
because
felt
that's there's no
continuous.
roads up there. Where it's fly in only.
Oh, I know it would have been that far then. 'Cause we
It's
took the
it's
yacht.
north of Moosonee.
Ooh,
Oh yeah, it's far.
there it is. So, is your family going with you?
No, no, no. It's just me.
Ah.
Yeah,
Are you
I don't
married?
have. Huh?
Are you married?
Nope, not anymore.
Oh,
That's years ago. It was actually around 2011 when I messaged you when I got divorced.
oh yeah, so
Yeah,
long since I've spoken to you, right?
yeah.
I don't know anything about you anymore.
No.
Oh, there you are. Wow, have fun. What do you do for a
Yeah.
living?
Huh?
What do you do for a living that year? Are
Oh,
you an
I'm a
engineer
nurse.
or? Pardon?
I'm a nurse.
Oh, I knew that. I do
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Worked in emergency for 20 odd years,
Right.
nurse for 28 years,
So
and
do you think,
then now newly traveling nurse since last year.
okay,
Yeah.
that's great. So you think being a nurse contributed to your health? It's a very stressful job, isn't it? Emergency room nurse.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Do you think being an emergency room nurse contributed to your heart attack or your health overall?
No, no,
No?
that was lifestyle.
Was it lifestyle?
Yeah, I mean, I tried following a Mediterranean diet, which by all accounts is a plant-based diet um and is commissioned by, the American Heart Association and the Canadian Heart Association, Heart and
Right.
Stroke. They commission that as being one of the best diets to be on. But the caveat is you have to follow it.
Right.
That's the caveat, right? You got to do what you're told.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the big thing. So yeah, so I think that, and then smoked as well for
Right.
how many years? Like 30, 25, 30 years, like so
Yeah.
many, so long. and then that contributed 100%. I don't really drink alcohol, so that
Right.
didn't do it. So
Yeah.
I think the combination of and a sedentary lifestyle. So I didn't really follow through with the running. That
Okay.
fell off like a year or two after 2011.
Right. That happens,
Because
right?
yeah, there was a lot of family issues then, so that
Well,
fell
you went
off.
through a divorce at that time. That's not easy.
Yeah. Not to mention that my kids were, diagnosed with DMD, so muscular dystrophy. So that
Right.
really kiboshed my mental health. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
so all encompassing stuff that contributed to it.
right.
Yeah.
I think you've had a lot
Yeah.
on your plate now. Like, holy.
Oh yeah.
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 How are your
And
kids
then
now?
no, they're doing okay. I mean, they're obviously living with it.
Right.
It's nothing that's they're going to be cured, but
Hmm.
they're a lot older, 18, 16, and 14. So super old.
Do all three kids have it?
No, just two.
That's still a lot. That's a lot.
Two out of three.
And do they live with you or with your ex?
No, they live with my ex.
Yeah. That's pretty normal, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So you had a heart attack.
I did in October.
Did you have any warning that you had heart disease of any sort, or was it suddenly?
Well, just I had okay, when looking back at it, I did have what's called metabolic syndrome,
Right.
which is high cholesterol, sleep apnea. I ended up having before a year before the heart attack was high blood pressure.
Right.
And then I didn't have diabetes. That's the only thing a part of the metabolic syndrome I didn't really have was
Right.
diabetes. Um, but I had everything else. And my dad history. My dad died when he was 36. He
Ooh.
died of a heart attack.
Ooh.
So back
Right.
then in the 70s, the technology back then was not that good.
Yeah.
Um, they had to do open heart surgery to fix him, right?
Ooh.
But the kicker is that he never changed his lifestyle to change.
That's
So
the kicker. That's the big kicker, not making the changes.
yeah, you got to make the okay. Yeah, if nothing changes when nothing changes,
Exactly.
so,
Right.
right? That's the bottom line.
I know. I
So
love
you
that
got to make the
expression.
changes
Yeah.
either mentally, physically, or emotionally, or however, or spiritually. You got to make the changes
Yeah.
before change can
100%.
actually happen. You got
Yeah.
to take one step, and then that leads to another step, and then another step. So it's one step in front of the other, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I didn't really have, other than the high blood pressure, high cholesterol, there was no chest pain. I wasn't short of breath. I was starting to get back into being healthy. I was changing my diet to mostly plant-based because studies
Hmm.
show plant-based is the best. And
Oh yeah.
then I was actually walking and trying to get some exercise in. Then that's when I had my heart attack. Not
Right.
because I was exercising. It was like the 12 years, 15 years prior of not exercising caused that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it just so happened that I'm doing these changes, then I had the heart attack. And I was
Right.
actually waiting to go over, I was waiting to go to Alberta, but that was delayed for whatever reason for the paperwork.
Right.
And thank God it was delayed because if I went to a remote area with no services other than me and I having the heart attack, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank God.
yeah,
Right. Things
yeah.
tend to work out
Literally,
even if you had
literally,
a heart
thank
attack.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Really.
yeah. So there was all that, and then that day when I had the heart attack, I just had what felt like GERD, like just a reflux in my stomach area,
Okay.
and that
Right.
came and went. That lasted an hour, but then that night, that just ballooned right up. Boom. Called 911, and then they took me straight to Peterborough to get the cath done.
Wow.
And all
Yeah.
I have is a little spot on my wrist. Instead
Really.
of doing
That
open
had
heart
the
surgery. Yeah, so that's the needle, angiogram, angioplasty. I got 3 stents.
oh, and they put it in through your wrist, and they like
Yep,
just.
feed it
Oh
right up to
wow.
the heart. Yeah. So
Wow.
1 hour after the start of the heart attack, I was fixed. 1 hour fixed.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, and I stayed
I mean,
24 hours
crazy
in the
good.
hospital. 24 hours in the hospital, then I was out.
Really? And did you have any like cautions? Don't do this or don't do that, or are
Oh,
you
as far
like
in the hospital?
when they let you go? Were you allowed to exercise or do anything?
No,
They
they didn't
say,
really give me any of that. They didn't even give me a cardiac rehab follow-up.
really?
But yeah, because I was lucky, knowing knowledge about healthcare and all that, I was aware of how to do the cardiac. But I asked the doctor though. I did say I asked, is it okay that if I walk? And is there any restrictions? Do I need to worry about it? She goes, no, you don't have to worry about nothing. Just
Wow.
listen, if you feel short of breath, just stop.
Yeah.
Right? Have chest pain, I take the medication. So
Yeah. That's
so I
interesting.
slowly progressed. So now I'm walking like 10 kilometers a day now.
That's
And
great.
then the last couple of weeks I started a cardiac rehab. I
Right.
didn't think I was going to get anything out of it, but I'm actually getting a lot out of it. There's still benefit.
We used to run those at the Ability Center when I worked there. Cardiac
Oh
rehab.
yeah.
Yeah. People seem to like it.
Yeah, it's a cool program, right?
My dad took it for a while too.
Like you get to meet people, get to see where they're at in their journey. You get to
Exactly.
talk to them, right?
There's
So you
always people with
know,
like worse or better stories. Like, so it puts everything into perspective, I find. I'm in a
yeah,
cancer support group, so
right.
and it puts a lot into perspective,
Yeah, for sure.
right?
Yeah,
So,
100%.
and I can understand
100%
that.
does.
So what made you, like you said, you knew a plant-based diet was better. Had
Yeah.
you looked in, what made you look into it initially?
Well, that's because I had my website in 2011.
Right.
So I was researching all those diets, right? What's a good, healthy diet? Because I didn't want anybody else to go through what well, my dad went through, right? So I
Yeah.
was trying to see what was the best diet. And then I incorporate that into my lifestyle.
Right, right,
So based on all the research, so when you look at research, it's important to note that there's different types of research. There's,
right.
evidence-based research where they take it's non-biased, all like blood work and everything and blood pressure. They take
Hmm.
all that into consideration to determine whether it's good or not. Or there's opinion-based, right? How do you
Yes.
feel this diet's going? Did you feel this is good? So a lot of the new diets that are coming out now, that's how they're going. It's more not evidence based.
It's
It's
opinion
more
based.
their opinion.
Really?
Yeah. So you got to be careful which study you actually look at. It's
Yeah.
important to look at the nitty gritty part and see, okay, this is a non-biased study that shows that actually is results.
Right.
People with heart attacks do get better, and it does not cure, but reduce arteriosclerosis. So
I took a
yeah, it's
course
huge.
through Cornell on plant-based diet. So I have a certificate just in plant-based nutrition,
Yeah,
and they were reversing heart disease and all sorts of
yeah,
things in
yeah,
the
exactly.
eating, right?
It's a very powerful diet when done right, right?
Yes. Yeah. You seem
And
to be
obviously, when I was doing it, I wasn't doing it right. But I'm a lot older. I'm a lot wiser. So,
yeah, right. We're all older and wiser at some point.
yeah,
Hopefully,
every
yeah,
second. Well, every second, older and wiser,
older or something.
right? Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I know my dad, he had a stint put in and he's just continued with the old school lifestyle of,
Uh,
red meat, potato salad, all the bad food. He just looks
yeah,
awful right now. It's so sad.
yeah.
It's like he's eating himself to death, right? A slow kind of,
I mean, yeah. So all the diets that they have now, one of the big things that they actually reduce is actually sugar. They
yes.
eliminate sugar, and they're not processed. So if you're able to make your own meals, you eliminate two deadly things: sugar and highly processed foods.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
But you have a YouTube channel now, right? I haven't been to it. I'm going to go to it.
yeah, yeah. You should subscribe too. It's really, it's awesome.
I will. I will. I will for
Yeah,
sure.
I was actually shooting a couple of videos too.
Yeah,
about
it's good.
I was making date paste, and
Right.
then I was making almond butter. So,
Hmm.
and
That's interesting.
I'm actually studying about fermentation,
Oh,
adding the
interesting.
probiotics to your gut, which is another piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Probiotics are
Fer-
huge.
Oh yeah,
Really.
fermentation, that's where it's at.
I listen to a lot of podcasts. I'm actually a bit of a podcast junkie.
Oh yeah.
I had to say stop, stop, stop.
Okay,
But
that's enough.
that's enough knowledge that you're not going to remember. But
Yeah.
really, the commonality between them all is, like you said, the sugar, the processed food, and your gut health.
Yeah.
Right? Watching out your gut health, eliminating processed food, and watching the sugar.
Yeah. I
Right?
mean, that's the easiest thing you could do,
Yeah.
regardless of what diet you follow. You do those three things, everything falls in line.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that we have a traditionally our society now has a bad gut, right? We
Yes.
have bad bacteria that are proliferating into our guts, which is causing a lot of the other illnesses that are popping up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So meat is actually converted with the bad bacteria to pro-inflammatory things.
Oh, is that? I didn't know that.
So yeah, so it's essential that everybody, even whatever diet you're on, that they actually change their gut bacteria.
Right.
Because otherwise, yeah, he's doing what your dad's doing, right? Eating himself to death. But if he had a good bacteria in his gut, that would they wouldn't affect him probably as much.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's such a huge thing. So the question is, right, which is what my question is, how do you change the gut biome? How does that happen?
Right. Right.
Plant-based diet. So one way is add lots of fiber, carbs and fiber, but
Mm-hmm.
not high, no sugar. And
Right.
then you add in the good probiotics,
Right.
which is
Right.
fermentation.
Right. Yeah. No.
That's how that's done.
It's great, Neil. So you're cooking a lot. I see. You're trying new recipes, vegan cheeses and stuff like that. How's that? Are they working out the recipes for you
Yeah,
generally?
no, they're really easy to make.
Yeah.
It's just I just there's so many different types of recipes I want to do, and I also have to live my life. I can't,
Yeah, of
right?
course you do, right?
I can't be cooking all day, although that would be really good. I'd be excited about that, 100%.
Well, one day you'll
But
be back into nursing and those long hours that sometimes nurses work, right?
yeah, no, it's true. And then actually, because I'm going up north, I don't know what they have as far as plant-based, if anything, right?
I
So
was thinking that.
I'm planning on that's why I'm making my butter now. I'm gonna make a lot of different stuff, but a lot of the stuff I make is very shelf stable. It can either be
Right.
frozen, right?
Yeah.
Or it can just stay on the shelf for a long period of time.
Right. That's good.
And I'm gonna try making my own tofu too, see how that goes.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see if I can actually, just take a minimum amount of stuff and make some protein for myself up there.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I hear tofu is
Yeah,
pretty processed, so to make your own would be good. I mean, I
yeah,
eat
yeah,
tofu, but I don't eat a lot of processed foods, just once in a while when I'm
yeah.
forced.
I rarely eat that now too.
I went to Odd Burger yesterday only because I was super busy.
Yeah.
And oh, actually, I don't like it, Odd Burger, but it was just on the route of where I was going, and I was in work at 7, and I wasn't finishing to 8. So I went to Odd Burger, and I was so sick the rest of the day. Like
Oh yeah.
my body was just like gas and bloating and just awful, right? I just thought
Right.
this food is awful. It's instantly causing a reaction in my body,
Right.
right?
And and that's what happened with me and the food that I was eating too. It was causing these things I did not like. And that's
Yeah,
why I slowly started cutting out first the meat, the deli meat, and then it was just meat altogether. Then it was dairy, right? I was reacting to dairy. I couldn't eat cheese anymore. I couldn't eat milk or cream. So I
dairy's
cut
the
all that
best.
out. So I was just cutting all this stuff out. And then and by the time I had my heart attack, I'm like, oh, I guess I'm vegan. So because I have no meat, I have nothing, I don't need anything animal based at all.
Yeah.
They even cut out honey now
It
because now
sounds
I'm
like
making
it's
the
a
date.
process for you becoming vegan almost.
Yeah, it was a slow process over a course of a year,
Hmm.
really.
I talk
Uh,
about that a lot. Like people go on these hard, fast vegan diets, but sometimes it's easier just to start with
yeah.
eliminating a few things, right?
Well, yeah, that's exactly what I was doing. Well, yeah, because I was a big popaholic too. I was drinking lots of pop.
Hmm.
So, and by cutting that down considerably, that helps a lot.
Right.
Because the other thing that I had was a few years ago before my high blood pressure was gout.
Gout, really?
Yeah, so I had it in my big toe. I had that for a few years.
Did you know?
Could have been like for five.
What
I don't
causes
know.
gout?
That's uric acid, the same thing that causes high blood pressure.
Oh, interesting.
Not a coincidence.
Is that related to diet then?
Yeah, we produce uric acid all the time in our bodies
Right.
because like, it's an anaerobic process, and then actually when you try to eliminate when your body just tries to get rid of stuff like fructose, for example,
Yeah.
it uh it just changes it into uric acid. So
Okay.
whatever your body's trying to get rid of, pollution, all this stuff, all the bad stuff that we put in or
Yeah.
gets in, the body has to get rid of it. And
Right.
that's a byproduct is uric acid, which is a chronic inflammation.
I had a customer with it this year, but he was a bigger
So
guy. He had a pretty bad diet though. He drank a lot. Like not, you know what I mean, not like alcoholically, but he was a big
yeah,
Irish drinker, barbecue meat eater, and
yeah,
he said he blamed it on his drinking and stuff like that. But I know lots of people who drink that don't get gout, right?
yeah. No, we produce it all the time, but when we add in more stuff, the liver can't handle it. So
Right.
it has to produce all this other stuff.
Interesting. I guess
So
with your medical background, do you find that is helpful for you because you understand research and stuff like that?
well, yeah, definitely easier for me to research it, 100%.
Hmm.
But it also easier, yeah, to understand what the research is saying, and then put it into practice as well. Makes it a
Yeah,
lot easier.
because
And
studies.
then once
Yeah,
I get all that information, then I can disseminate it. So it's a lot easier having
yeah,
people who are
exactly
willing to
right.
listen.
Now, I think having a medical background would really, really help because
Yeah,
there's so many studies and research being quoted in all the podcasts, but without
right.
it, without seeing the research or reading it, you're really just going again with someone who's interpreting research for the benefits of selling their book, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. And then when people though they go on my channel and they say about the carnivore diet, right?
Uh,
And then I look at the research. It's all just people just stating their opinion,
right,
right?
right.
And it's just people observing, okay, I've lost this much weight over a course. And how do you know what you ate in a course of a week, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember what happened yesterday. so so how do you remember what you ate in a week?
Excuse me. Exactly,
Exactly.
right?
So it's yeah, so those studies that they do it that way, they're not really reliable.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure people do find good results from these different diets. So one of the big things that you could do is cut down sugar
Yeah, I think a
and
lot of
processed food.
times, here's what I hear and see because I own a studio, right? A lot of people, when they'll go on keto, or they'll go on carnivore, or they'll do vegan, or whatever they do, the biggest thing that they're doing is actually cleaning up their ultra processed foods and sugars. So they lose weight,
Yeah,
not necessarily because that's the best diet for them, but because they're ultra processed, they've given up the evening snacking in front of the television, the munchies, and all that kind of stuff,
right.
and that cleans their diet up, right? Like
Yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah,
Because
just not just reducing your process, not going out as much and eating that high
yeah,
processed foods, 100%.
like I see people who lose weight and they do really well, keto, whatever they're doing, but then whenever they go out or have the opportunity, they eat shit. Not literally
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
As
Right.
soon as they're out somewhere, and Christmas is a good example of being out a lot, they revert back to the highly processed foods, the sugars, the high fat salad dressings and stuff.
Right.
And then they put all that weight back on. So
Yeah.
then they claim I got to go back on keto because I have to lose this weight again, but not making the connection between the ultra processed foods that they're eating and the junk,
Right.
right? So that's what I see a lot of, right?
That's and that's one thing about going vegan, right? It's easier because when you go out to a restaurant with friends, you have to first of all have a vegan diet, right? So you have to ask them or look it up prior to going. So it's a vegan is a lot of planning,
Yeah, I find
right?
that.
But it's not that hard because a lot of restaurants now are they have vegan options.
Hmm.
And it's not hard to do a vegan diet when you go out. You have a vegan burger or you have a vegan wrap. I mean, I
Yeah,
had a vegan wrap the other day and it was actually really good. The way they did the tofu
right.
was incredible. Like I don't miss meat at all.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I find it more fascinating, more fun to recreate all the foods that I used to eat but
Right.
healthier
Yeah.
and just recreate them in a plant-based form.
Yeah.
So a lot of fun.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you this question because I get asked this a lot. What do you eat on a plant-based diet? Right? So everyone's always
Yeah.
like, they think I'm deprived, but in
Right.
actuality, I feel like I eat a wider variety of foods than I ever ate in my life.
Right.
Right? Because I'm always trying new recipes and stuff like that. Do you find the same?
Well, I don't, funny enough, I don't like to eat a lot of salads.
No, me neither.
I said just or soups. I'm just not a big fan, right?
Yeah.
So I make my own so there's an egg recipe, which
Right.
is split mung beans.
Yeah.
So I have that as an omelet and I throw some kimchi, which is a fermented product.
I
I
hate
put that
kimchi.
on there. Huh?
I hate
You don't like
kimchi.
you don't like it?
No, I want to spit it out.
You don't have to have it because sauerkraut is also a fermented product
Yeah.
too. So yeah, so yeah, yeah. So and then I make my own bagels too, which is a big process. So
I think I saw that.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't eat processed foods. It's just
Yeah.
not in my vocabulary. Now that I'm traveling up north, it's going to be a big story, a different story. I
Yeah.
also make a little sausage round. So I have that. So I have one, the McDonald's sausages on a bagel. So I
Yeah.
make that with the egg too sometimes.
Nice.
But
Nice.
most of the times it's either legumes, beans, for my proteins and
Right.
fiber, and then and also tofu on and I've been growing my own veggies too. I'm just shutting it down now because I'm traveling, but I grow
You're
my own veggies.
incredible. You're
Yeah, so
incredible, Neil.
I had Swiss chard, I had kale, I had spinach, lettuce.
Nice.
Yeah, and I made my own pizza too, which had I don't know, have you heard of what's that Greek dish? The I keep forgetting the name. Anyway, it's just like a pie. They make it into a pie
Mm, okay.
with all these different greens that are in there.
Right,
So I
right.
did that, but I put it on top of the pizza instead.
Oh, nice. Was it
Can I
good?
use one of my vegan cheeses, my melty mozzarella,
Right,
my
right.
melty mozzarella? So I
Yeah.
put that on the pizza, and then there's like the the pizza was incredible. It was really
Oh,
good.
good. I'll have
Yeah,
to I'll have to try and make your melty mozzarella.
yeah,
I don't buy vegan cheeses a lot because they're usually use coconut oil in them, and
yeah. I
not a
don't
fan.
use
I don't like to eat coconut oil,
no,
right? Because it's a saturated fat and stuff like that.
absolutely. Yeah, it's and that's the other thing about diets, right? Especially a plant-based diet. You can make it as healthy or unhealthy as you want. Just because it's a plant-based diet doesn't really make it healthy. Because you can
No,
deep fry
absolutely.
all your foods, you could deep fry all your veggies with batter, and it's going to be just as unhealthy as every other diet. So,
Exactly. I'm a huge
so,
fan of saying that in the column that I write, like just reminding people that just because it's plant-based, like like that Beyond Beef burger,
yeah,
like it's not healthy, it's not good for you. Like I'll eat it if I go to someone's house and they have a barbecue and I don't want to
Right.
be rude, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, you got
Yeah.
me a plant-based burger for sure. I would love that. Thank you so much. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy it as part of something that I would eat in my home, right?
Right.
So it actually makes my stomach sick. Makes, yeah.
So it's all the whatever stuff they put in there is preservatives. You're probably sensitive or allergic to even.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful to eat, right?
Yeah.
But many vegans do rely on that. Not many, but some that I know, they
Yeah.
really rely on those substitutions and coconut oil cheeses and whatever's in Beyond Beef Burger that makes me sick.
Oh, I make my own ground beef out of tofu too.
Oh, good. I
Yeah, I
like to.
made marinara sauce the other day. Oh, so good. It was so easy, so good.
Yeah. What's the biggest benefit do you think you found from a plant-based diet? Is there any?
Well, it's really walking with intention,
Right.
changing my lifestyle, and then to get healthy.
Yeah.
So right now, the biggest benefit that I've noticed within a few months, it's only like 3 months, right? In that
Right.
short period of time was losing the weight, 16 pounds.
Yeah.
And I've had issues with my back for years. Now wasn't able to walk a year ago, two
Wow.
kilometers, but now I'm walking 10 because my back, the inflammation in there is dying down and getting
I was
better.
just gonna ask you, was it inflammation?
Yeah. Yeah,
Is
it was
arthritis
inflammation.
caused by inflammation? I just watched a video of
Arthritis,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually it's like the immune system is just goes complete haywire in arthritis, right? So it attacks every joint, everything.
Right.
So that's a lot worse than the chronic inflammation, which is a low level amount of inflammation. Similar, but not quite the same. So
Right.
chronic inflammation is created by uric acid,
Okay.
but the arthritis is caused by the immune system going haywire and attacking everything. But by
Right.
reducing the inflammation markers, 100% will affect and help arthritic sufferers too.
Oh, good. You know, one thing you touched on I want to go back to is you talked about your metabolic health.
Yeah,
So a lot of the podcasts I'm listening to, they're talking about metabolic health, right?
right,
That's the big thing. You know,
right.
have muscle, good metabolic health, all that kind of stuff. Like what's the components of metabolic health? Like
Well, what I mentioned was metabolic disease, which is a
disease, right?
syndrome, which is very different. But when you look at the health and the metabolism, for one, right? So metabolism, we think that okay, so when we're younger, we have a high metabolism. What does that mean? What does high metabolism mean? It means that your whole body utilizes and uses all the food and nutrients and energy that we give it, right?
Right.
So it does it I don't like to use the word burn because it's not how the body works. The body converts. It's an energy
Right.
converter. So it converts energy from food, stored energy in food, and then we get that out by converting it for our use into our bodies. And then
Right.
we take all that on, all that energy gets taken on. And then when you exercise and eat right, that raises our metabolism. What is that exactly? Well, it's a debogging. So your liver is less bogged down, right? When you eat a healthier diet. When
Hmm.
your metabolism is higher, your liver's not bogged down. And then every muscle, everything in your body uses up. So you become you less insulin resistance. So
Right.
it's another part of metabolic syndrome is metabolic resistance, or the leptin that's produced for telling us when we're hungry. That's increased in metabolic syndrome. Um, and then so yeah, so when we exercise and all eat right and all that, it actually utilizes our bodies just utilize everything. So our muscles, our cells, everything inside our bodies is using up the food.
Interesting, eh?
Hmm.
And yet people don't exercise or eat well. It's a
Yeah,
mystery.
just by flexing your muscles and just going for like a half hour walk, is a huge benefit.
Yeah.
Just by doing that alone, it's going to increase your metabolism, and it just gets the muscles moving so that they can utilize the glucose and the oxygen and all that to
Right.
burn everything.
I
Lack of a
heard
better
somewhere
word.
that your muscles store most of the glucose, and if you don't have any muscle mass, it goes directly to the liver, which
Yeah,
overburdens.
the liver actually stores all the glucose. And
Interesting.
then so yeah, so if we eat like a proper carb, which is like, vegetable. And so when we eat that, 80% of that glucose molecule gets eaten up by the body, by the brain, by the muscles, by everything. So everything uses that up first. Then
Right.
it goes to the liver to get
Right.
stored. So the process of glucose metabolism is actually body wide versus just the liver. Where when
Right.
we eat highly processed foods, that's just the liver. The brain doesn't want the processed foods, the muscles don't want it, the lungs don't want it. The liver is like, okay, all right, I have to take it. I have to
Yeah.
get rid of this. So it kills itself trying to get rid of this stuff.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
It's also complex.
Oh yeah, there's
It's
the
crazy.
liver itself is like thousands of different processes that go on. I mean, I could talk about the liver all day long,
The
but
body's so fascinating. It's so complex and so fascinating.
yeah, but yet so simple, right?
Yeah.
It's so complicated. So you don't have to know how it all works,
No, I
right? You
don't
just
think so.
know that it works.
Yeah. I
So
don't
why
think.
change what God's given you,
Yeah.
right? God gave you the body for the reason. God gave you everything for the reason. So
Right.
why change that? Why change a good thing? We have
Yeah.
to enhance it. We have to help it work better. And that's what medicine is, right? That's what I do is help people to heal. I
Right.
don't do the healing. The body does that. I just assist. I
Yeah.
give it a little nudge.
No, I understand that. I understand that, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting. Let me just quickly check the time. I have to pick up my grandson from school today.
Oh, okay.
I have a bit more time. I yeah, I try and pick him up just because I want to
Yeah,
see him. He's like the cutest little bugger I've ever had in my life. He's like the love of my
uh,
life. And it's
of
like
course.
the world stops for him.
Yeah, as it should.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's good.
so
So tell
cute.
me about your YouTube channel. Do you have like a mission behind it? I'm going to put notes together and on all what we've different things that we've talked about.
Yeah,
So I'm going to
so
include it at your YouTube channel so people can follow you if they're interested.
so it's being vegan. I'm gonna put a link up for you
Okay.
so that you have it, so I don't mess it up. So it's being vegan. It's actually a guide to complete health. And I'm not talking about just health in the sense of hold on, just eating right. It's
Right.
mental health and spiritual health is included in
Okay. What's your spiritual background when you say spiritual health?
that. First, I was religious.
Right.
So I am still religious to a point. I still believe in God and I'm still Christian as far as my
Right.
basis goes. But I sort of expanded to understand. So I put my link up in chat. You see that?
Let me
So you
just see.
know. So it's this spirituality, knowing that there's a greater presence that's greater than yourself that's out there. And
Right.
then that presence exists outside of our traditional senses of sight, smell, touch, hearing, and all that.
Yes.
But it's in the realm of our feeling. So we feel God. That's how we interact with God is through a feeling. So through that feeling is the how you know that God is present in your life.
Right. I understand that.
So yeah, so spirituality and religion and science, they're all coming together to say the same exact thing.
Yes, I agree.
It's so science is proving what thousands of spiritualists have known 10,000 thousands of years. They already knew all this. Science is finally proving that. And
Yeah.
then when then religion and science are now proving what spirituality is saying for the last tens of thousands of years. So we're all just saying the same thing. It's just a different perspective.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Okay, I have your YouTube channel up. I gotta subscribe to it, but they're asking me for my password, which is gonna take
Oh
like,
yeah, it's okay.
oh, I don't know what. I have so many passwords right now.
Yeah, being vegan. So yeah, it's more. So being vegan for me is more than just diet.
Right.
It's the energy surrounding a lifestyle, and being so choosing a lifestyle is more of an intention of why do you want to choose a lifestyle?
Right.
Well, because I want to be healthy, right?
Hmm.
So what does that mean then? Then you have to figure out what lifestyle it is to achieve a goal of being healthy, but also not only healthy in the body, but healthy of the mind and healthy of the spirit.
I agree.
Because all that is all energy. It's all just energy, all of it.
I agree.
We're just energy. Everything is energy.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. That's similar to my beliefs. That's why I
so
go
that's
to,
basically what my YouTube channel is going to be about. Right now, it's just my journey so far up until now.
which I think is great. I think it's inspirational, Neil. Right? I
Yeah,
think it's
thank you.
inspirational, Neil, because so many people are just, you know, eating the old school ways. I call it
Yeah,
the old school ways, right?
well, that
We
makes the
were
list. Yeah.
raised this way, so we eat this way. But
Right.
really, we now know through science and all sorts of things that it's not that good for us. Like I call dairy the devil.
Yeah, well, we're not supposed to be eating dairy.
No,
Our
and it drives
bodies are, don't produce like we do when we're younger, but then after that, we don't, produce lactase to get rid of the
right, and I it drives me nuts because well, I used to be in marketing, so I'm very sensitive to commercials.
right,
I see the dairy industry now because they're losing some people. So now they're
right,
marketing more to the ethnic groups, right? Let's
right,
throw some Chinese or some Black Canadians or everything into the mix. But we all drink dairy. But the
right,
truth is, most people who are Asian are lactose intolerant. So, so they're saying it's a healthy diet, but their bodies can't break it down. And,
right.
right? I just like, it drives me nuts. I'm like,
Yeah, and if you can't drink milk for whatever health reason that you have, then you just make plant-based milk, which is so super easy to make, which I make almost like 3 days, like every 3 days.
yeah,
Just a cup of almonds and 4 cups of water, boom, done. You rinse and rinse and repeat. But if you want to add protein to that, all you gotta do is add a scoop of whey protein powder,
right.
and boom, you got your protein drink in there too.
Yeah, exactly
So
right.
we don't need to eat animals. We don't need to eat consume whatever product that the animals produce.
Yeah, no, I'm just understanding. One of the things I had over the years, I've been vegan, I don't know, it'll be 14 years in the fall. But like after a while, I would just sit there and go, I don't know, it just like boggles my mind. Here I am vegan and doing great, but I've always been told I needed meat to do that. And I just felt like so like tricked,
No,
or not tricked purposely, but
yeah.
like almost lied to, right? Like,
Well, because that's what we grew up on. That's what we
yeah.
know. We know about chicken. We know about beef. We know about fish, but we don't know about plant-based foods. But
Mm.
people that were in different countries who ate tofu on a daily, they know more about it,
Yeah,
right? But now
exactly.
what they're starting to get the chronic diseases that we have as our diet is infiltrating their culture. So
So
as
sad,
we
right?
infiltrate that way, they're getting all these metabolic diseases,
It's so
obesity,
sad.
high blood pressure, everything. They're getting it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
know,
diet
like,
is huge.
I know, like, the China study, which a lot of people debunk, but, anyways, it was part of the course. They tracked people from when they moved from rural China into large metropolitan areas and watched their diseases start skyrocketing, right? Once they came to North
Right.
America.
Right.
And they eat like North American, the standard now North American diet is so unhealthy. But
Yeah, and you actually look at people who actually have the money in different countries, have the money to have the sugar, you notice that heart disease rises in those people. And the people who can't afford the refined sugar, they're healthier and live longer than the people
right.
that can't afford it. So it's kind of funny.
It's crazy, right? But one of the
Yeah,
things, and I'm going to ask you this question. I've been vegan for a long time.
right,
Nobody bugs me anymore. You know what I mean? I'm pretty much, they've gotten accustomed to it. They leave me alone. I don't
right,
hear, how are you going to get your protein anymore? I don't hear all that stuff anymore. Did
right.
you experience that kind of pushback from your friends and coworkers and stuff when you
No,
became
not at all.
vegan?
They're encouraging,
Oh,
actually.
good.
I got a lot of good feedback just because I'm posting all my recipes on Facebook.
Right.
People accept it. Well, they know that first of all, I had a health issue, so they're not
Yeah.
gonna question my change, my lifestyle change. But being all my friends are all healthcare, right? So
Yeah.
they're aware. Or my family is not in healthcare, but they're spiritual.
Right.
So they understand the implications that having a animal based diet has on society versus the health benefits and the land utilization alone
Yeah.
for a plant based diet. Yeah.
It's insane, right? It
Hmm.
makes no sense, and yet people won't change. I don't know. I remember, like,
Oh,
this is way off topic, but lived in an ashram in Thailand for 5 weeks,
oh, that's
and
cool.
it was cool. And the Swami there was like, the world will never know peace, well, because we're such violent people. And
Yeah.
he was like, just think of Thanksgiving, the millions of turkeys that are killed for a Thanksgiving dinner, and how much that violence goes into the energy that we all share. We're never going
Right.
to, until we stop eating meat,
Yeah.
then we're always going to be violent. It's just a karmic kind of thing, right? And I thought that's an interesting
Absolutely.
take on it. That's just his opinion, but I don't know if it makes sense or not because I'm not as wise as this guru, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting.
No, it's so true what he's saying.
Yeah, because we're such a violent people in
Right.
like in our animal husbandry and all that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
But anyways, I ate meat for years. I don't like to preach.
No, that's the thing, right? So I'm not shoving veganism down anybody's throat, and I appreciate everybody's lifestyle choices.
Yeah.
So everyone has to, but basically, you choose a lifestyle. You have to go with the intention of why you're choosing this lifestyle. Is it because you've always done it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, we've had wars for our whole human history. Does that mean that we continue to do that, or is there a better way?
Yeah.
Right?
No, I
Bottom line,
agree.
is there a better way?
I'm always saying that. I'm
Are
always
you?
saying that, Neil. Like when we talk about Indigenous people in Canada, and
Yeah,
I'm like, it's not going to change till we find a better or new ways. Like we're trying to fix problems with old ways that created the problems,
right.
right? We need new thinking to change problems. Oh,
Gordon. I was just having some of my vegan shake.
I made this great vegan meal today for lunch, and like, I don't know, it was so good. It was so yummy too. With
Yeah,
Google in my kitchen, Google Home, I just asked for a recipe,
yeah,
and I made this like quinoa pasta, which I don't really eat that much, but I had some left over. I'm a
right,
firm believer is I don't like to throw. I like to eat what I have, right? I don't
right.
like to throw food out. I made this pasta with peanut sauce, and I made my own cashew milk for the sauce. It was
Mm.
seconds. It was like easier than anything, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? Is this plant-based foods are mostly so much easier to make. Like in 10 minutes, I've had most of my meals cooked. Occasionally it takes 30, but the most part is
Yeah.
like 10 minutes, boom, done.
No, I find it a lot easier. A
Oh
lot.
yeah, 100%.
Anyways, I'm gonna have to start winding down now. But I just
Okay,
wanted to, first of all, I wanted to thank you because I know I've been bad at getting back to you, but it's
it's
just I'm
okay.
really busy right now. Like
I get it.
I have a race that I'm race director for. I have my business. both my parents have had a lot of needs over the last little while,
Right.
and I just been like running like this, trying to keep up with. And so today was perfect. Everybody canceled today.
Oh,
I
meant
was
to
sitting
be.
here the whole day going,
Yeah.
I have the whole day to work from home. I'm going to email Neil, like I'm
Yeah.
going to start clearing
Yeah, it
stuff
worked
off
out
my plate that
perfect.
I feel bad about. So, what is there anything you want to leave us with? Like I'm going to, I'll write up a column. Just
Yeah.
anything that you feel like I haven't asked you or you wanted to share on the topic.
Well, no, just the biggest thing about lifestyle, right? It just going and walking with intention. It's
Right,
just you choose a lifestyle for what reason? The reason is health. You want to get healthy for the most part. People start walking, they start exercising. So it's choosing a lifestyle which goes with intention of getting healthy. And
right.
then choosing a diet, a lifestyle that is actually supported by good studies, right? So
Yes.
studies that actually show results, and a plant-based diet is showing lots of results by showing a reduction and reverse potential reverse of heart disease, which
Yeah,
is
that's
huge,
huge.
huge. Whichever
Right.
diet is saying that, no one. And back it up with proof. They go in and take a look at the arteries.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they back it up with proof. And that's what cemented me on the plant-based diet.
Yeah, that's great, right?
Yeah.
Well, good luck and congratulations on surviving your heart
Well,
attack and making these changes, right?
yeah, yeah, good job. Keep breathing. Yeah, yeah,
No, but a lot of people don't. I know that most people die from their first heart attack, right?
yeah, that's actually true.
Die from
Yeah,
their
because they
first
don't
heart
have this
attack.
collateral circulation. Yeah,
And and most people I know, I mean, I'm 63, so I have a lot of family and friends that are older than me. Most
right.
people don't make changes, Neil. Like if I were to
Mm,
bang my head against a wall on any topic and go like this,
yeah,
the fact that they're given this second chance and they go down the same street. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
right.
So they leave, they know what they're supposed to do, and then they don't do it.
Yeah. If
So,
nothing changes, nothing changes.
but one of my favorite expressions, right?
I
One of
know. It's so
yeah,
true.
and
So true.
they end up having their second heart attack or their third,
Yeah.
and it
And
boggles my
surprised
mind.
that oh wait, all this diet and stuff I've been doing my whole life is not working. It's like, should have clued in at the first one. I know it's so
Right?
true. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so it's something I'm just asking everybody about these days. I just like in this weird space where I'm trying to understand why people won't do the things they need to do to get healthy.
Yeah,
I just don't understand, right? I think
absolutely.
why wouldn't you want to be in a better, right? I have grandchildren that I want to like live to see married and have great grandchildren. I want to be around forever. Well, not forever,
Right.
but you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
A good long while.
Yeah, I want to have a quality of life too, where I'm not just getting up off the couch exhausts me.
Right. But the other thing too is right is now is doing it for family is pretty noble, but the most important person in your life is you.